Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are so.
For the final time in 2014, it's time for Braves baseball. Today from Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, it's the Braves and the Phillies. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. The Braves have a chance for their 79th win and a chance to claim a share of second place in this final game of regular season play. And welcome back to Philadelphia. Chip and Joe with you for our final broadcast of this 2014 season. Joe, it's been an interesting year for the Braves, to say the least.
No question about it, Chip. And you know what? Every night we got to watch Andrelton Simmons do his magic at shortstop. We got to watch Freddie Freeman swing the bat every single night and Pickett at first base. We got to watch Jason Hayward play better right field than anybody in baseball, threw out 9 base runners this year on the sacks from the outfield. We got to watch the emergence of Alex Wood and Julio Teheran. Julio wins 14 games. Alex leads this team in ERA. So there were a lot of good things to really focus on looking forward to 2015, and I prefer to do that than to think about what happened in September.
These are indeed exciting and interesting times for the Atlanta Braves, and we'll relive some of those moments over the course of our final game of the regular season here against the rebuilding Phillies in Philadelphia. It'll be a bullpen game for the Braves. Cole Hamels will pitch for the Phillies. Atlanta owes him some payback. It's the final game of the year. We're going to have some fun. We'll hope to stay with us. We'll line up some first pitch after this. Sunday is brought to you by your local Hyundai dealer. Chip and Joe with you, along with Jen Hildreth and our great Fox Sports crew. Our final telecast of this 2014 season. The Braves and Phillies wrap things up. Atlanta with a win can guarantee themselves a share of second place in the National League East. And it is a makeshift lineup for Freddie Gonzalez, as you'd expect. But good to see Evan Gattis back in there for the Braves. Strep throat, kidney stones have really limited his play in the month of September. And he has worn out the Phillies, and Cole Hamels in particular. He's in the middle of the lineup And Atlanta certainly owes Mr. Hamill some payback after what he and the Phillies did at the start of this month.
Yeah, it's included in his last 5 starts against the Braves. 4-0 and 0.97 ERA. This year alone, he's gone 2-0 with an 0.45 ERA in his last 3 starts. And, of course, through that 6-inning no-hitter against the Braves combined with his teammates on September 1st. We'll get to his 4 keys right after the first pitch.
And that first pitch is coming to Emilio Bonifacio, who leads off for the Braves. And we are underway.
His 4 keys to pitching success today? Well, smarty pants. Bet you can't do it again. And only 9 wins. How does this guy only have 9 wins?
What's the biggest trend in baseball this year?
I would say cotton candy.
That would be would be John Smoltz's answer. Lack of offense is a big part of it for Cole Hamels.
Yeah, he's had some real troubling games, just like his last start against Miami. 7 innings, 2 runs allowed, a walk and 4 strikeouts, and he got beat 2-0.
Phillies had 1 extra base hit in the game. You know who had it?
Probably Hamels.
It was Cole Hamels. Fly ball belted deep left field. That ball's got a chance, and on the very first batter of the game, Bonifacio takes care of the no-hit bid against Cole Hamels. A long home run.
See? He got that one out front. 3rd home run of the year for Emilio. How? Hamels already wants another baseball from Dan Iasonia.
I love it. First homer for Emilio since June 27th, when he popped one against Randy Wolf of the Marlins. Atlanta has struck first. Here's Phil Gosselin. This young man's play has been a real positive for the ball club, not just here in Atlanta, but throughout his AAA season too. He had a great year for Gwinnett, and he's been a very well-rounded defensive player, and he swung the bat well too.
Yeah, he and Tommy La Stella both have been very refreshing young players that have come up and done well.
So you have to figure Phil is very much in the Braves' plans going forward. And on a check swing, he takes a ball in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Phil's gotten on base via hit or walk in 14 of his last 17 starts. He scored 14 runs in 29 starts. 292 average in that stretch. And the Braves really love his versatility. He can play second, he can play third, he can play short. Spent a little bit of time in the outfield. I'm sure he could play first base if he had to. A little flinch as that ball missed low, I suppose. 4 count.
Fastball, cutters, changeup, curve. All excellent.
Popped up. Ruiz gives chase. That ball's curling back and out of reach.
It's a good day for the Gosselin family. They get to come out on the last day of the season and watch their son play. Good day for the La Stella family, who can drive down from Jersey and see Tommy play.
If that was his dad on the right part of your screen as Phil takes a walk, you need to upgrade his hat. Phil's not in Mississippi anymore, and I don't think he's headed back there anytime soon. So a homer and a walk. And Freddie Freeman's the batter. Something else to keep an eye on tonight, or today I should say. If Freddie Freeman plays 7 2/3 innings, he'll set the franchise innings played mark for a single season. Gosselin's running, and he'll slide in without a throw. Second stolen base for Gosselin. That record held by Andrew Jones, who set it in 1999. Well, in this day and age where players need days off or take days off for various and sundry reasons, Freeman's in there every day for Atlanta.
He's got those marks right there too where he could add to them today. He could hit over 290. Might hit 20 homers.
Back through the wicket and into center field. Here comes Gosselin around third. Freddie Freeman with his 78th RBI. And Cole Hamels hasn't retired a soul yet. 2-zip.
And he might drive in 80 runs. He's only 2 away now. This year, in 3 starts against the Braves, Cole Hamels has worked 20 innings against the Braves and gave up 1 earned run. 1. They have 2 this inning.
Well, this 2014 season ends the way it began for Chris Johnson. You might recall Chris was the Braves cleanup hitter on opening day as that ball's hit in front of Michael Franco and it skips over his glove. And that's a base hit. 2 runs, 3 hits, and nobody out in the first.
Like a cutter came right into him. And Franco, who has a reputation of being a really good glove man, had that one eat him up.
So here's Gaddis. Gaddis 2 homers among his 3 hits against Cole Hamels. And out of play to the right side, foul, strike 1. Hope Evan can have a good final day of the season to take with him in the offseason. It's a shame he was sidelined for most of this month. Evan's 108th game this year. And that one is hit towards second, and a leaping grab by Chase Utley for the first out. You said it great last night. He looks like a 28-year-old Chase Utley, not the 35-year-old man he is.
It almost cost him the out because he wanted to jump up, catch the ball, and come back and double up Freddie Freeman. So in his effort to kind of get near the bag, he almost ran under the baseball. Good play.
Ryan Domit gets the start today for Atlanta. He's the Braves left fielder. So no Justin Upton, no Jason Hayward today. And Domit quickly behind 0-2. B.J. Upton also the day off after he and Justin did something that had never been done before in baseball yesterday. Brothers hit homers and had an outfield assist in the same game. And Domit is down quickly. There's the second out.
That's the guy that looks like the guy that usually pitches in the first inning for the Phillies. He had only given up 3 first inning runs all year. Throw a no-hitter against somebody and just expect him just to take it, you know. Got to be ready the next time.
Well, Bonifacio said no mas. Long home run to left.
Pretty sure that Bonifacio in Spanish means in face. Something like that.
Works for me. Swinging. What are they looking at?
I don't know.
Maybe they're looking at
Joey's picture on the big screen.
James Russell says, hey, thanks for the lead. He's going to start the game today. That ball's pulled foul. Really enjoyed our chat with Irvin Santana during the game last night. The line of the night was the Jose Costanza bobblehead.
I I saw Jose after the game. He was giving me high fives on that one. He's still laughing.
1-2 pitch is bounced towards short. Galvis has it, and the flip Tutley will end the inning. And we go to the bottom half. 2 runs on 3 Atlanta hits. A leadoff homer for Bonifacio got the party started. James Russell to the mound to face the Phillies with the lead. It's a 2-0 score. Here come the Phillies. Ben Revere trying to chase down a batting title, and he's trying to win the hits title in the National League. Ben had a knock last night. You've got Howard, you've got Bird, you've got Brown in the middle of the order, and James Russell out of the bullpen makes the start today.
Combined numbers between the Cubs and the Braves: 3.19 ERA, just a 2.19 average against him. First start since May of 2011. And his 4 keys to pitching success today. Number 1, I'm what? And how long do I warm up? Well, when do I go out first?
Well, he's going to try to protect a 2-run lead.
There you go. Yeah. Shutdown inning.
Had a baby. As 25-year-old Ben Revere leads off. And he shoots one into center field for a hit. So now he takes over the hits lead. His hopes for a batting title are probably by the boards. Here's around 11, 12 points behind Justin Morneau of the Rockies, who leads at 319. Josh Harrison of the Pirates is at 318. That's something else the Pirates will be playing for a little bit, well, this afternoon. In fact, they're playing now.
And down 1-0. James Russell's had some trouble with lefties all year. 284 average against him versus right-handers that are at 174.
So that's got some folks bum-fuzzled. It's not been the way James has gone about his business in the big leagues. And realistically, Joe, how long do you think he goes today?
I'd say if he could go 3 innings, they'd be fired up about it. And look at that. Only 3 homers allowed all year, and all the lefties.
Runner goes. He got a great jump. Gaddis's throw is high, and he had no chance. As Revere steals a base.
Went on his first move. No chance to throw him out. Number 49 on the year.
One more in the National League will have 3 men with 50 or more stolen bases. The speed game is coming back, I think. And with offenses struggling so mightily over the last several years, I think managers are looking for, as are Major League ball clubs, guys that can run the bases and get in scoring position, because they sure as heck aren't doing it at the plate. Here's Ruiz, 2 balls and a strike. Lots of decisions for Ryne Sandberg and the Phillies at season's end. They had their big organizational and staff meeting here on Saturday to try to make their plans for next season. Sharply hit out towards second. Oh, tricky hop, and La Stella made a nice play.
Sure did.
Ruiz got Revere to third base with 1 out. That was not an easy play.
First, I thought it was going to get up the middle. And then when it hit the dirt, it kind of skipped back behind Tommy a little bit. Nice backhanded play.
Big game for Utley last night. A couple of doubles in 4 trips. He scored one of the 2 Phillies runs. Like many of the Phillies who are in their mid-30s, September has been a rather cruel month. His production, Howard's production, Rollins' production has dropped noticeably this month. A lot of games. Something Ruben Amaro talked about. Perhaps the Phillies veterans were played a little too much. Not out of fault for Ryne Sandberg, but because there really weren't realistic alternatives to put in the lineup on days that Utley or Rollins or Howard or Bird might need a rest. That's something they will try to address, as well as keeping arguably their best hitter fresh. They could play Utley at first base a time or two, schedule more days off for him, but that's predicated on what they do with that man.
Yeah.
And the man on deck, Ryan Howard.
Trying to do something with Ryan Howard is going to be a very difficult task given his contract status.
Utley didn't get it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Chase is a really good fastball hitter. Lefties or righties, doesn't matter. Even hard throwers, he'll hit the ball hard to left field if he has to, but breaking balls give him a bit of a problem.
There was 1 to Utley. Gaddis will make the peg to first, and there's the second out. Revere at third. 2 away now for Ryan Howard.
Good pitch in the dirt. We got him to chase. Actually, fastball. Beg your pardon. James is getting married this winter, as well as a couple other teammates that will get married in the offseason. James marrying the daughter of Bobby Witt. Remember him? All-star pitcher. I'm sure they're watching today.
Big night for Ryan Howard last night. 3 hits, homer, 2 RBIs. 4 of his 23 homers have been hit against the Braves. I think 47 in his career. .95 runs batted in for Ryan. Good for 4th in the National League. Always a lot of strikeouts for Ryan. Always a lot of walks for Ryan.
And he'll get a green light here.
he won't offer at that pitch. A 2-out walk brings up Marlon Byrd. Looking at the numbers of Marlon Byrd, you'd have to think Phillies pretty happy with what Marlon gave them this year. Leads their club in homers. He's got 85 RBIs. He's hit .266.
A lot of strikeouts. I'd like him to cut down on those a little bit. He's a good right field too.
Phillies have 4 players over 100 strikeouts. They have 2 players over 180. Howard 189, Byrd at 183. Revere singled, stole a base, and took third on a ground out. Howard walked with 2 outs. And Russell missed low. Talked to Evan this morning. He says he feels a lot better. Strep throat situation's gone. The kidney stone issue he feels is under control.
When you sit out that long, it's hard to get your legs under you, so he must feel better about his leg strength.
Ground ball towards short, and the flip to second is in time. Russell gets the Phillies in the first inning, and he does have a shutdown inning. He leads 2-0. He'll hit second in the second next. Time for our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Think we'll get a layup on the last day of the year?
I doubt it.
I don't think so either. Ryan Howard's one of 2 players with 130 or more RBIs against the Braves of the last 40 years. Who's the other?
There's your layup. I'll tell you what, you take the 40s and 50s.
Okay.
I'll take the 60s and 70s, and then we'll alternate every 2 decades from there.
That sounds good. All right.
All right.
This is a big trivia question. I think, if we get this one right, we finish above 500 for the year.
In your dreams. But okay, I'll go with that. Put it all on the line.
Tommy La Stella leads it off and takes low from Hamels. Even count. Where does Tommy rank among National League rookies offensively? 6th in average, 5th in RBIs, 20 multi-hit games is 7th, 8th in hits, 7th in total bases, 1st in walks, and 3rd in on-base percentage. Fly ball found on the left field line. And remember, he was called up at a time that I'm guessing would be a very awkward time for a first-year Major League player. He's replacing a player that had been here a while, and Dan Ugla.
Yeah, that was, I'm sure, a little uncomfortable for him.
Oh, a rocket shot back through the middle. That got a piece of Cole Hamels. And it ricocheted to the shortstop. A 1-6-3 put out. Galvis handled the ricochet, and let's check on Hamels and see if he's all right.
That come up and hit him in the face? Yeah, it hit him on the side of the face. I don't think he got leather on that anywhere. Ryan Howard's coming over. I think he wants a towel, like maybe bleeding a little bit. What's he bringing him? Oh, a little water.
Yeah, might have got him in the mouth.
Yeah, might have cut his lip or cut his jaw, maybe pressed against a tooth. Dang.
Yep. Lucky not to lose some teeth.
Yeah. Have a fat lip, I'll bet.
So 1 out for James Russell. Bonifacio to follow.
Hamels forgot that there was no one on base. He just
Hey, you can understand, right?
Yeah. He's shaking his head like, where am I?
Fourteenth career at bat. And Russell puts it in play. Nice pick at short. And Galvis fires to first. 2 outs. Leadoff homer for Emilio Bonifacio in the first inning, his 3rd of the year.
We're going to have to hustle to break that record for that fastest game, right?
There's a great note in the Phillies press clippings today. This date in baseball history. September 28th, 1919. The Phillies and the New York Giants played an 8.5 inning game in which 7 runs were scored, and they played in 51 minutes. Most batters swung at the first pitch and ran the bases until they were tagged out. Both pitchers, Lee Meadows for the Phillies and Jesse Barnes for the Giants, threw complete games, and there were no substitutions or pinch hitters used the entire contest.
Nor allowed.
Nor allowed. Big find.
You know, 1919 also was the year of the Black Sox scandal.
We've had 51-minute innings.
Yes.
This year, much less games, man.
That's right.
As Bonifacio takes a strike. I would love to go back in time 100 years ago and see how the game was played. Would it be fascinating to see? And the big home run hitters of the day were leading the league with 15, 17, 20. Guys like Glover, Cleveland, Alexander were pitching. And a swing and a miss. Retires Bonifacio. Cole Hamels will check his lips after a comebacker grazed him. He trails by 2 and is due 4th in the second.
Behind the plate, he is our Georgia Lottery, hitting the jackpot for what he's done against the Phillies. You look at the last 13 games, hitting .364, 7 homers, 13 RBI, and he's been pretty good here with 5 home runs. I talked to Evan before the game, just asked him how he was feeling after he made his first start in a while on Thursday night. He said he felt fine. As you guys know, Evan, not a man of many words. He said he feels physically fine. Gosh, that's good to hear. He thinks he'll be able to go the full distance today behind the plate, so finish the season on a positive note, hopefully. And as for catching Mr. James Russell making his start here today, Evan said, hey, I know James pretty well. He's not going to have nerves. He's been at this a long time, and he knows James back from playing in the summer league in Dallas together growing up. They also played against one another in junior college, so he feels like he's got a pretty good feel of his pitcher.
All right, Jed, thanks. Great report.
They go way back.
Dominic Brown leads off and pops it up. Gaddis back near the screen is not going to have a play. Brown's looking ahead to a better 2015. This was not a good year for Dominic. After really giving the Phillies and their fans some hope with an all-star season last year, Phillies will tell you he took a step back defensively, offensively. And he's exactly the kind of player they need. Youthful talent. From 27 homers to 10 and 20 fewer RBIs. And a swing and a miss. Retires him. That's the second strikeout for Russell. And Michael Franco hits. We've heard about Michael Franco for a long time. He's been one of their top prospects for the last couple of years. He's 21. First baseman, third baseman, ton of power. It hasn't shown up yet in limited duty with the big league club.
He could go a long way towards solving some of their issues, he and Brown, if Brown can bounce back with their lack of youth.
Right off the end of the bat, and that'll be easy at first. 2 outs. Now, Franco was a 16 homer, 78 RBI man, and a .257 average at Lehigh Valley. Didn't get on base a lot of strikeouts, but was still the Iron Pigs Player of the Year and the youngest position player selected to the All-Star Futures game. So he could maybe use a little more seasoning, but Phillies may not have that luxury. As Freddie Galvis hits, he's 24 years old.
By the way, the trivia question producer reminded me that that question today didn't go back to 1940. It was just in the last 40 years. So we can cut down on our research.
She of all people should know that math is not our strong suit. Or trivia for that matter. The pitch popped up into left center field. Who wants this one? It'll be Domit, and he's got it. And Mr. Russell's through 2 innings with a 2-0 lead.
Ford dealers and Synovus, the bank of here.
Pretty day in Philadelphia, where the Braves scored 2 off Cole Hamels in the first inning. A Bonifacio leadoff homer, a Freddie Freeman RBI single, and James Russell getting the start for the Braves bullpen has shut down the Phils in his first 2 frames. Here in the third, Gosselin, Freeman, and Chris Johnson are coming up. Pittsburgh's tied the Reds 1-1 in the 4th inning. The Cardinals play in Arizona later on this afternoon. This could be one of the more meaningful Game 162s in recent memory all around Major League Baseball. We could have chaos tomorrow if everything breaks the right way. Potential of 3 tiebreaker games is possible. If the Pirates win and the Cardinals lose, there'd be a 1-game shootout for the National League Central. It'll be in St. Louis. If the Tigers lose and Kansas City wins, you'd have a 1-game shootout for the AL Central in Detroit. And if Oakland loses and Seattle wins, you'd have a 1-game playoff in Seattle to determine the last AL wild card, which would then set off a chain reaction of games for that lucky team.
King Felix pitching for Seattle, but they got to have help.
To the left side, Franco's got it. And strong throw gets Gosselin for out number 1. So here is the menu for Game 162. Price and Gibson go for the Tigers and Twins. Minnesota has really made life tough for the Tigers. Giordano Ventura goes for Kansas City. Garrett Cole and Cueto. Cueto goes for his 20th win today. Wainwright already has 20 wins, but goes for his 6th win in September. Wow. You saw the other matchups on the bottom of the screen. That'll be easy for Ryan Howard. 2 quick outs. Chris Johnson, the batter.
Wainwright and Colementor, two guys who used to have tomahawks. That Cole and Cueto matchup in Cincinnati is a beauty. The way Garrett Cole was pitching, the year that Cueto's had, he's kind of the forgotten man behind Kershaw and Wainwright.
Galvis at short. It's Chris Johnson, and Hamels gets 3 groundouts in the top of the 3rd inning, and he's ready to go in the bottom half. G-Money, Gerald Laird's going to make his Braves TV debut when we come back. Of the MLB Network studio show joins us for the first time, the one and only Gerald Laird, the real G-Money.
Jose!
Again?
Say hi,
Hey, we had fun last night with Irvin, and he was sitting there nodding along with everything Irvin was saying, and Joe had the line of the year. He said it's like bobblehead doll day with Jose Costanza.
Bobblehead?
yeah, exactly. Joe, what a year, an eventful year for the Braves this year. I'd like to get your thoughts as a veteran player on what you liked, what you think ought to improve for 2015.
It was actually a really strange year. I mean, we pitched really well all year. The guys did a heck of a job on the mound. I just think offensively, it was just, it was a struggle at times, and we just didn't score enough runs. We obviously didn't hit the home run like we did last year, and I just think guys got to go home and just regroup, have a good off season, get back to your routine, and just come ready to play, because we have a lot of talent on this team still coming back next year, a lot of young talent, and it's just, I think they're real close. I think this team is on the verge. If they get the right guys next year and put the right guys in place, I mean, your core is really set and really strong. So I think they're right there for a playoff run.
Gerald, this day and age,
a shot to right, and Turdosilovic can't corral that. Cole Hamels has a hit.
Back lip and all. This day and age, Gerald, with the way pitching has emerged, especially power pitching, do you think that teams like the last year's Braves team will be able to power up again? Is it going to require some adjusting on how you approach your offense?
I think so. I mean, honestly, I've been looking at it, my last year here and seeing this division firsthand, and the arms coming up in this division on, look at the Mets coming back again, Harvey, Wheeler off his first year and having a good year, and they got the DeGrom kid, and looking at the Marlins staff. I mean, it's a tough division in pitching wise. So I think, if they add the right pieces of a couple guys that, that work the count and can get on base for our big boppers, I think we're going to be, I think they'll be okay. I mean, because, honestly, you don't want to take the swings away from the guys like Freddie and obviously Justin, and we want them to swing the bat. And you got to take the good with the bad. I think you got to take the strikeouts. They're going to hit the ball in the ballpark. You know, Jay Hayes going to do his thing, but I think if you had the right guys that are willing to go up there and take pitches and take their walks and set the table for these guys, I think it can be a good year.
You're a veteran player. This was and is still a very young team. I think one of the questions that fans in Braves country have is who's going to and who can, in your opinion, emerge as a leader among that young core group that you just mentioned?
You know what? For me, I think it starts at first base. I mean, he's the cornerstone. I think Freddie's the guy that, I think he needs to get a little bit more vocal. I know he's not that guy, and he leads by example because the kid plays every day, and he's got a lot of respect from us veterans. He goes out there every day and plays every inning. But I think he could be a guy. I think Jay Hay can be a guy. He's going to be around. But, I mean, for me, it starts at first base. He signed the big contract. He's your core guy, and, guys are going to look to him to lead this team.
I'm with you, Gerald.
Deep short, long throw. Gosselin, good play. Gerald, can you stick around for another half inning?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, if you don't mind, Jose and Irvin distracting you from that is going to be an Emmy Award-winning performance. We'll do that for you when we come back for the fourth inning. Real G-Money Gerald Laird is downstairs in the Braves dugout. There they are. All right, Gerald, let's talk about the Braves catching core. You're a part of that quad, obviously. You have two young guys that you had a chance to mentor in Evan Gattis and Christian Bethancourt. I'd like to get your thoughts on what you've seen out of those two guys, and maybe more so with Bethancourt, who we haven't seen an awful lot of here in 2014.
I mean, I thought Gattis did a heck of a job this year. I mean, for as big as he is, he's not the smallest guy in the world to go out there and catch. And obviously, he's had some stints where he missed. But for me, I thought he did a really good job with the staff, the way he called the game, the way he threw guys out at second, and then honestly took it to his offense. I think he took really big strides, and I'm happy for him. And with the kid, I think the kid's getting a little bit tired. For me, it's a long season, especially when it's your first time in September playing every day. But like I said, Bethancourt has all the tools. I mean, it's all there. It's just a matter of himself taking it and putting it together and going and getting it. I mean, I've sat with him on the plane last time out and just told him what I saw and what I think he needs to improve on. And this kid, I mean, this kid has it all. I told him. I mean, he's got the arm. He's got the athleticism, and offensively he can be really good too. So it's just about him now putting it all together and going out there and putting his defense first. That's what I kept telling him. Put your defense first and make these guys want to throw to you, because that's going to take you a lot longer than your offense.
That's an excellent point. Yep. As Evans down on strikes, you're showing remarkable composure, by the way. I am really impressed.
Yeah. No, but I said, look at my behind my baseball card. I'm not playing this long because of my offense. I take really pride on calling the game and and working the staff, and it's allowed me to play a long time. And I said, you know, offensively, it's never been there for me, and I told him that. I said, defense is going to keep you in this game.
But don't sell yourself short. You are rapidly approaching Brett Butler and the bunts record in the National League.
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
Active bunts leader, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Even my family's like, I can't believe you have that many bunt hits. I said, hey, when they're playing back and I'm 0 for 2, I mean, nothing wrong with 1 for 3 with a bunt hit. And the scorebook looks like a line drive.
So how much, I mean, it's obviously disappointing to fall out of the race and not make it to the postseason again. But what have you guys talked about among yourselves with respect to, let's say, in the middle of September, trying to get this thing turned around and get it going again?
Well, you know, when you do that, we had some meaningful games. You know, we had the Pirates come in, and you want to play, and you can be spoiler. And I think you owe it to yourself and to the city of Atlanta and to the coaching staff and whoever's watching to play hard and continue to fight and end the year on a good note. And try to show the fans that, you know, obviously it was a bad year, down year, and we all understand that. But, you know, just give them something to look forward to next year and finish up strong. So and I think we have a lot of group of guys, and we have the staff that, you know, kept us in there, and we got a lot of pride on this team, and we have a lot of young pride. So these guys went out, and, you know, you want to see guys like J-Up get to 100 RBIs. You want to see guys get some milestones. So it was nice to see guys continue to play hard.
Popped up to short off the bat of Jadoslovich. Galvis drifts back. He says he's got it, and he does. Gerald, we appreciate what you've done for the Braves. Hope you're back. And tell Mr. Costanza and Mr. Santana for a great job during the interview. They were outstanding.
Sounds good.
Okay, man.
All right, guys.
Let's check out our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Final game of the season. Let's check out the offensive team leaders for the Braves.
And some stats dominated, of course, by the 3 and 4 hitters, Freeman and Upton. Jason Hayward and B.J. Upton tied with 20 stolen bases. Looks like that's where that will end up. Freddie Freeman, by the way, second in the National League in doubles, third in walks, fourth in on-base percentage, and seventh in hits, seventh in runs scored. All top 7 categories and some pretty important ones.
And if you remember reading John Hart's commentary on the state of the team when he took over as the interim general manager, he talked about a lack of a dynamic offense. And one area where I think the Braves will most definitely try to improve is the consistency out of the number 1 and 2 spots ahead of hitters like Freddie Freeman and Justin Upton and maybe Jason Hayward, who will bat either first or in the middle of the attack.
Well, it's teams that I have been on and teams that I have watched with the Braves that had that one guy leading off all year. they got into almost a routine. If that guy got on, he knew what the number 2 hole hitter, if he was going to take pitches for him. They had a system worked out if he was going to steal early or let him work the count. The 3-hole hitter knew that the 2-hole hitter was going to try to get a guy over, or if he got on base with 1 out, when he was going to run. So you get used to those situations that come up time and time again because you got the same people there. And that's been, as you said, a revolving door.
And that's an excellent point. Freddie Freeman is the only man who's hit third all year. That's the only lineup spot that has not wavered for Freddie Gonzalez all season. The Braves used only 4 number 4 hitters. Justin Upton getting the bulk of those at bats. Second most was Gaddis. Third most was Chris Johnson. But Atlanta used 8 different number 1 hitters and 8 different number 2 hitters this year. As Freddie tried to find a combination that would work. As the bat ends up out at second base and the baseball ends up behind the plate on the warning track. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count for Chase Utley.
Got him chase another bad ball. This one was a breaking ball and threw his bat at it.
Russell in his 4th inning. And pulled foul.
I'll use the Phillies as an example with what would be their normal lineup. Typically it was Revere, Rollins, Utley, Howard. Every day, every inning, every at bat. I mean, those guys, you get used to how they play when they get on base and what they do when they want to steal.
Utley is down on strikes. And there's the first out of the 4th inning.
James looks great.
Yeah, you're right, Joe. Revere 123 starts batting first. Rollins 111, would have been in the mid-120s had he not gotten hurt. Utley batted third 145 times. Howard fourth 136 times. Very stable, very consistent. So I love your point. Not only knowing what your role is, but knowing what the other guys around you will do.
What they do. Now, I'm not sure that that's the best of examples this year for the Phillies because they've had trouble scoring runs too. But in the past, you could interchange Revere with, say, Shane Victorino, or maybe move Rollins to start at the top and then Victorino batting second. The point is, it was very consistent, those first 4 guys, and they produced some monster run scoring years.
And it wasn't just with guys blasting home runs. How many times did we see Rollins lead off, steal a base hit to right, then Utley would steal, home run, and the line would continue to move. It was a dynamic murderer's row offensive group. And if anybody knows how to build that kind of an offense, think back to what John Hart's Cleveland Indians had in the early and mid-90s. Sharply hit, shift is on, and Chris Johnson was the man that moved over across the diamond. He made a fine backhanded play to retire Howard. 2 outs. That's a 5-3 putout. James Russell is pitching a beaut. Got 2 early runs and he's mowing down the Phils. Here's Marlon Byrd.
He's pitching great and probably getting an extra inning out of him that they didn't expect because of the quick 3rd inning and so far a quick 4th. Looks good.
A couple other big stories in baseball today. Derek Jeter's career has concluded. An infield hit in Boston against the Red Sox. After 3,465 hits, Jeter at first base was asked by Joe Girardi, do you want to continue? And Jeter said, it's time. And he walked off the field. The chants at Fenway Park, thank you, Derek.
They had a big ceremony right out at shortstop, too, before the game. All the Yankee players around him. That's probably not happened before at Fenway Park.
Wouldn't think. Well, they weren't going to say Bucky Dent. As the Yankees are up 4-0. The other story in the American League is the AL batting chase. Little Jose Altuve was sitting on a .339 average. The Astros did not put him in the starting lineup today. Altuve said, frankly demanded, I want to play. Doubled in his first at bat today.
So they put him back in.
It went back in. So he's got a full point lead over Victor Martinez of the Tigers. So that's a fun race to follow, as well as the Tigers and Royals. Kansas City has scored first. They lead 1-0 over the White Sox in Chicago. The Tigers lead 1-0 over the Twins in the 5th in Detroit. If Detroit wins, they win the Central. If they lose and Kansas City wins, they play again tomorrow in Detroit.
James Russell reminds me a little bit of Terry Mulholland in his wind up, and of course he's more or less working from the stretch all the time since he comes in out of the bullpen. The way he turns his back, kicks his leg, there's a little Mulholland working, and he's got it working.
You bet he does. 4 strikeouts through 4 shutout innings, and he's due second in the 5th with a 2-0 lead. Hamels, who's 4-0 in his last 5 starts head-to-head with the Braves, and 16-8 against us lifetime over 34 starts, including today. I wonder how tempted the Phillies will be to trade Cole Hamels in the offseason. I would think he would bring a king's ransom. The obvious problem with that for the Phillies, with the uncertainty of Cliff Lee's elbow, the uncertainty as to whether or not A.J. Burnett is coming back, and young David Buchanan. That's about all that the Phillies have to contemplate in the pitching department. As far as their starters are concerned, as that pitch popped up left side, Franco at third. Looks up into the bright sunshine and makes the two-handed grab for the first out.
I don't begin to know the Phillies' financial straits, although we know about those contracts they're saddled with. But I think if you traded Cole Hamels, you're just adding to you're trading the wrong guy. He may be the most tradable, but he's only 30 years old and he's still pitching great baseball. So why trade him? You've already committed that money to him.
My thinking would be, if you don't have much in your farm system and you're going to rebuild, look out. Back to the screen for Mr. Russell. You mentioned last night Steve Carlton won the Cy Young for an awful Phillies team.
I love the fact that this is a pitcher who's not using any batting gloves.
And he puts the ball in play again. Franco at third. Takes the peg. 2 outs.
Didn't strike him out, did he?
Nope. So my point is, with all due respect to Cole Hamels, his wins will mean very little to the Phillies for what's going to be a long rebuilding process. If they could maybe package him with a bigger contract, get some salary relief, and get 3 or 4 players in return that could speed up the youth movement for them, I wonder if that's something they would consider.
But that's my point. He's not the problem.
I'm not saying he is, but he's the only. I would think he's not the only guy they could move.
If you really want to get younger, then get rid of those contracts. Either eat them or.
Hamels grabbed that ball, and it was a foul ball. And what a play by Utley to back up. That ball whistled over the head of Ryan Howard, and Utley caught that ball on the fly at the first base line. Incredible play.
That ball looked like it was on the chalk. Freddie Gonzalez out to talk to Iasonia because Hamels was trying to get it before it went foul. That's a fair ball. I don't know if he got blocked by the base runner or not. I don't know if Iasonia did or the catcher. That was a fair ball, and Utley was still in bounds when he made the catch. Oh, yeah. Big time.
That is not a reviewable play, by the way, because the ball is in front of the base. So that's a bad break for Bonifacio, who should have an infield hit. Instead, he's down a strike with 2 outs. And now 0-2.
Now my statement to you about he's not the problem. If they want to get younger and rebuild, then they've got to do something with the Cliff Lee, Ryan Howard contracts.
Totally agree. What that will be, again, you're right, we don't know. But the Phillies have a gigantic TV contract, but they've got gigantic salaries, and guys getting long in the tooth, and it's cost them dearly this year. And look, we're the first to admit we don't know the inner workings or the thought processes of Ruben Amaro and Pat Gillick, but the facts are the facts. Cole Hamels is the youngest of that group, and he's still owed $100 million. I'm sure the Phillies would like to move some of these guys, Joe, but lack of production, and
it might start right here.
Yeah,
it might start right there, because even including Hamels, he may be the most marketable guy. Money, I understand. They may have to bite some of that. But teams are always looking for closers, and they've got Ken Giles ready to go. And then from there, maybe you start seeing if somebody in the American League is interested in Ryan Howard to come back as a DH, play a little first base, and then find out how healthy Cliff Lee is when the season starts.
Can I play devil's advocate with
Sure.
you with regards to Papelbon? There's no questioning the guy's talent. The guy's a terrific, battle-tested major league pitcher. Does he throw 95 miles an hour anymore? No, but he still gets people out. Does Papelbon's baggage, as it were, frighten off other teams who try to, or at least think about getting him?
They know what he is, and it might, some teams, but you tell me the Detroit Tigers wouldn't be interested in him as much as their bullpen has suffered this year. He might be just what they need. Great job by James Russell, by the way.
You bet. 4 shutout innings for James. He won't get the win, but he'll get a lot of pats on the back. Got to throw 5 to qualify for a win. So Luis Avilan faces Dom Brown, and a ground ball to the pitcher. Avilan to the bag, and a good start in the 5th inning. Four innings, 2 hits, no runs for Russell. I've got him with 4 strikeouts.
Yep.
He should have first inning walk. And the Phillies, with their 2 hits and the fly ball to left, only 3 balls hit out of the infield. Real good.
He can go get ready for a wedding. Maybe go to the OU Texas game. He's a big Longhorn fan.
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
Here's Franco. 14th start for the Phillies youngster. Look out. Are they rationing pine tar on the final day of the year?
Yeah, at the end of the year, you kind of run low. You don't want to put in an order because there's a minimum.
That stuff goes bad, right?
It does. Yep.
Swing. One ball, 1 strike. Toward third. Fair ball. Long toss across in time. 2 out. And here's Freddie Galvis. 1-1 Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, top 6. Tigers 1, Twins nothing. 6th inning in Detroit. Royals 2, White Sox nothing. 3rd inning in Chicago.
Detroit's got David Price pitching today. It's kind of nice for them when they're trying to set up their rotation for the postseason, and it doesn't really matter who pitches Sunday. You've got some horses.
You got Verlander. You've got Scherzer waiting if need be.
Porcello.
Yep.
They're going to put Anibal Sanchez in the bullpen. He's coming back from the disabled list.
I think this year's postseason is going to be real exciting simply because teams are in it that haven't been in it in a while. Baltimore.
Yeah, don't overlook the Orioles.
And Kansas City. By the way, with the Royals getting to postseason play, do you know which major league team has the longest playoff drought now? Toronto. You're on the clock.
No kidding. Huh.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Baltimore's got an excellent bullpen. I mean, it may not be quite as good as Kansas City's, but it is really close on that. They've got good starting pitching, and they catch the ball. Excellent defense.
And you talk about a team that's overcome adversity. I can't think of a team that's battled more significant injuries to offensive players than the Orioles. Wieters is out for the year. Machado, the third baseman's out, and Chris Davis suspended.
Right.
I mean, that's big time thunder they're missing.
I think I read where if they get to the World Series, Davis will have served his sentence and can play again.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. Avilan with an impressive inning. And we head to the 6th, where Atlanta leads by 2. Gosselin, Freeman, and Chris Johnson, your Delta Airlines on deck trio coming up.
About throughout this series, Phil Gosselin, who's set to lead off this inning for Atlanta, is a Philly native. He has a lot of family here in the stands. I just went over to talk to them. Wanted to confirm, by the way, Chip, that his dad, Dave, is wearing a Mississippi Braves hat. He says he does have a Gwinnett one, but he figured, as long as it has a tomahawk, it's fine, doesn't matter. But the best story came from Phil's mom. Of course it did, right? Mary Ann. She told me when she was 8 months pregnant with Phil, they were at the ballpark. The fanatic came over and kissed her belly, and she said she tells Phil all the time that's how she knew he was going to be a big baseball fan and player, perhaps.
How about that?
I thought you were going to say that's how Phil got here.
Not quite.
They just gave a fan the shirt off the fanatic's back, and then they played the music from The Streak. Ray Stevens, that was pretty good.
Gosselin grounds to second. Utley will make the play, and there's out number 1. By the way, Hamels pitching a great game. After the 2 runs in the first inning, he's now set down 16 straight.
Yeah, the first 4 reached. If you just joined us, a home run by Bonifacio, then a walk and 2 singles. And then the out parade started. Freddie was telling me a good story last night about his wedding coming up in November, and I said, where's it going to be? And he said, in Maine. And I said, Maine, huh? I said, why Maine? He said, most of my fiance's family's from England and mine's from California, so we're going to meet in the middle.
How about that? Nice. It's indoors. A little chilly. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And into the seats foul. Well, I love what Gerald Laird said about Freddie a moment ago. Talking about
me too.
This kid's leadership ability and his responsibility as one of the young faces of the franchise. In the air, deep center. Revere going back, and at the edge of the warning track is there for the second out.
Yeah, you've got to be willing to take that on, though. You've got to assume that role and be willing to say the things you feel like need to be said. And hopefully Freddie's getting to that point. You know, Jason's there too. Jason can be that guy. And they've both got enough time in the big leagues to be able to back it up. I don't think Jason in particular is shy about that. It goes to the willingness.
No balls and a strike. And out of play 0-2. When you think about the leadership void on this ball club, whether by design or just by baseball fate, it's a significant one. Guys like Hudson and McCann and Chipper Jones. A lot was left on the shoulders of some of these young Braves, and at times they struggled. Didn't have a veteran presence to lean on. Leaning on Cole Hamels in the 6th, up 2-0. Using hashtag #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in a broadcast next year. Our fan photo has been brought to you by our friends at AT&T. Lined into center by Hamels. He's 2 for 2.
And he is on a hot streak here at the end of the year.
And off a lefty.
11 for 60 on the year, coming in a 183 average with 2 doubles. And 2 for 2 today.
And really lucky to still be in the game after a comebacker. One hopped off his face. So here's Revere. Revere singled, stole a base, took third on a ground out, and was stranded in the first. He's also hit into a double play. 1 ball, no strikes. To first base, there's only 1 play. The ball too slowly hit. And Revere advances Hamels with the first out of the inning. Here's Ruiz. He's 0 for 2. A couple of groundouts. Well, we know who's going to be in the National League playoffs. That's been settled. Washington, Cardinals, Pirates, Dodgers, and Giants. First, the pitch to Ruiz. What do you like coming out of the National League?
Washington. The teams, though, that seem to be favored every year are the ones that have the most trouble.
Nationals had a remarkable year, 95 wins. This might have been crossed up, but winning again today with Jordan Zimmermann on the mound.
Now, apparently he got hit with a line drive the other day on the back of his throwing shoulder that pushed him back a couple of days, but fortunate that nothing was serious. I actually like their starting pitching better than the Dodgers as a group.
0-1 your count.
Ryu's had some problems, injury problems at the end of the year. Hit by Kershaw. Greinke's been good. He also was laboring a little bit at the end of the year. But Strasburg and Zimmermann at the top pretty strong.
To the right side, one play for La Stella, and he makes it. Runner at third, 2 outs. Here's a stat that may surprise some fans. As remarkable as Clayton Kershaw has been for the Dodgers this year and in past years, his postseason record: 1 win, 3 losses, and a 4.23 earned run average. So he's been human.
How Greg Maddux of him,
right?
Yeah.
It's hard to figure.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers aren't exactly blistering the scoreboard either. They have been, like so many teams in the National League this year, a feast or famine club. When they hit their home runs, they look like they'll never lose. But when they can't manufacture runs, they have to rely on their excellent pitching to remain competitive. Players haven't thrown many strikes to Chase Utley today, and they've struck him out twice. The Nationals will await the winner of the National League wild card game. The winner of the Central Division gets the Dodgers. Good start by Evan. 2-0. Ow. On a 2-0 pitch, Utley gets hit.
I mean, he didn't even have time to move. I had to look out at Avilan like, what are you doing?
Juan Jaime is in the Braves bullpen. 2 on for Ryan Howard. And a roll out of play. Strike 1. Utley will take second without a play. Now a single could tie things up. Count 0-2 for Howard.
Number 10 for Chase against only 1 caught stealing. He's always had an incredible stolen base success ratio. That ought to work to Luis's advantage.
And it did. Howard is struck out. The Phillies strand a pair in the 6th inning. On we go to the 7th. Atlanta leads 2-0.
of the season against the Phillies. And you may have heard Chip and Joe talk a little while ago about Freddie Freeman's upcoming marriage. Well, he is not the only Brave with some big things going on this offseason. We'll show you the rest as part of our Synovus Greatness Made Here. That's right, 7 of these Braves players getting married in the offseason, and 2 will be expecting a child from Mike Minor. He'll be expecting his first. So, you know, you kind of look for guys to rest and recharge during the offseason. Maybe not so much for those guys.
Bouncing ball to third off the bat of Gaddis. Yeah, you think hitting a 98-mile-an-hour fastball is tough. If you put the stamps on the wedding invitations the wrong way, you are in deep trouble.
I was just thinking about how great it would be if you and I were the wedding planners for those deals.
Be fantastic. I'm serious. I got in trouble when Susan and I were engaged. Stamps weren't straight enough on the envelope.
Dog. You didn't care, did you? You weren't thinking of me when you put those stamps on there.
I wanted them mailed out. I didn't. Little slobbery on the stamps too. You know, you have to, and I'm sure Jen can agree with us on this. You know, your obligation is to place them perfectly square up in the right-hand corner of the envelope, right? And how it's supposed to go? Not me. As Ryan Dobit hits. 19 up, 19 down for Hamels after the first 4 Braves reached. Cole's been down this road before. No runs. No runs of support for him. And out of play. Still 1-2.
Beginning to understand how he's only got 9 wins.
He got Dobit to swing and miss. 6 strikeouts.
That's his changeup. First inning, Bonifacio not included in that, but the other guys, they were jumping on him on the first pitch. Since then, he's corrected that. Mixed his pitches well on the first pitch.
Here's Joey Turdoslavich. Utley got hit. Turdoslavich got hit. And now both benches will be warned.
The end of the season, hygienes. Well, Hamels taking care of his all-star, hitting Joey almost identically in the same place. Tried not to make it quite so obvious. Didn't hit the first guy up. He hit the second guy.
And just in case Joey tried to steal on the first pitch, he draws a throw from Hamels at first. Announced crowd of 38,082. That's tickets sold in Philadelphia.
Big crowd. I think just about all those tickets were used. 33,000 plus the first 2 nights.
In the last place year, the Phillies drew well over 2.4 million fans this year. First time the Phillies have finished in last place since 2000, but 3 consecutive losing years. And a strike has Tommy behind 0-2.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of the selling point of, okay, you got to figure out something. These guys are not getting any better. They're just getting older.
Right.
They didn't just have a bad year. They've had 3 bad years.
And they're in the wrong division to stand pat, especially with everything else that's going to happen
Absolutely.
in the East. Mets will be drastically improved. You know all about Washington. The Marlins, as that ball's lined to second, are going to up their payroll and get Fernandez back at some point. And the Braves have numerous changes in store for next year. 2-0 Atlanta. We're at the stretch in game 162.
The Georgia Lottery, Delta Airlines, and AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Braves are trying to mow down the Phillies in game 162. They lead them 2-0. Phillies have just 3 hits, 2 of them by Cole Hamels, who has been brilliant, but the first 4 hitters touched him for 2 runs in the first. And Russell and Avilan have made that stand up as we enter the 7th inning stretch. Watch out, Braves fans. The A-list is almost here. Get exclusive benefits and ticket options to meet your unique needs. To become an A-list member, be on the lookout for information online at Braves.com this week.
It'd be fun if you and I could somehow work our way onto that. We've never been on the A-list before.
I'm dragging you down, I think.
No, it's just group thing.
Well, we'll see what happens. Maybe we can log on to Braves.com and find a way to do it digitally in this offseason. Let's take a look as the Braves make a pitching change at the Braves 2014 team leaders in the pitching department. And as you said in our open, this has been the positive of positives this year.
All across the board. Everybody's done a great job. They've all pitched in troubling times when they couldn't get any run support. So it's possible that Julio Teheran, specifically Alex Wood, especially, would have many more wins than they actually recorded this year. But Alex with a team-leading ERA, great work there. Julio closed in on 200 strikeouts. Craig Kimbrell did his usual thing. He's up to 46 saves, might get another chance today. And David Carpenter had a really good year, despite a stint on the disabled list. Was a workhorse out there. Up and down the pitching roster, everybody had a tremendous season.
110 quality starts out of 162 games started this year for the Braves. The starting staff 68-60. And the big number that jumps out at you, 2.6 runs of support for the starters while they're in the game.
That's just awful.
So Anthony Valvaro will make his swan song for the Braves this year. He'll come on and pitch the home seventh with Bird, Brown, and Franco coming up. Russell went 4. Avilan went 2. Back by Bird, 2 balls and a strike. David Price is out of the game for the Tigers. Pitched into the 8th inning for Detroit with a 1-0 lead. That's where it stands over Minnesota. White Sox have tied Kansas City 2-2 in the 4th inning. That game at U.S. Cellular Field. Pirates and Reds still tied 1-1 in the top of the 8th inning in Cincinnati. Cardinals play in Arizona tonight. Washington's winning today 1-0. Jordan Zimmerman has a no-hitter working.
That happened for Miami last year.
Anderson Alvarez.
Only they were on the good side of it. Last day of the season.
In the air, pretty well hit, but playable. Who's going to catch this? In right field, it's Turkoslavich. And Joey T's got it for out number 1. Was it Mike Scott that threw a no-hitter on the last day of the year for Houston?
Uh-huh.
I mean, that was one of the more dramatic hitters, and
yeah,
ended up clinching a playoff spot for Houston.
Boy, he was good. Great. I think it was a splitter that he had. It was just awesome.
It was said at the time, and maybe still is in some quarters in the game, as Brown bats. There was no better home field advantage than the Astrodome in Game 1 of a series. It was such an oddity to have an indoor stadium. Players are used to playing outside, sunshine, and then you walk into that big cave in the National League with that staff. That had at times J.R. Richard and Ken Forsch and Nolan Ryan, and try to beat those guys on the turf in the dome.
I believe it. I saw J.R. Richard pitch in the minor leagues in Oklahoma City in what I'll call very dim AAA lights. Not a good thing if you were trying to hit or see. And the park in Oklahoma City at that time had very good minor league lights, but J.R. Richard was pitching. It wasn't enough.
Sad how his career came to a close. He suffered a stroke.
Yeah.
And I saw him pitch his last game. I was a bat boy with the Braves in Houston. And I'll never forget watching Glenn Hubbard come back after striking out in the first inning, muttering. J.R. was kind of squinting and struggling to get the signs from the catcher behind the plate. Hubbard just muttered as he walked back to the dugout, "Something's not right." And sadly, that was the case. And even sitting where the bat boys sit, you could hear the ball sizzling as it crossed the plate. It was just amazing. Back in his day, a guy that threw that hard was really a rarity. He was a legit 96, 98 mile-an-hour guy as Brown swung over the top of the slider. And Freeman at first with the catch. And 2 are out.
Yeah, he had some breaking stuff to go with it, but it was all fastball, conveniently wild, where you just didn't dig in. He was 6'8", I think 6'8", 6'9".
That sounds right.
And there weren't that many of those guys around then either. They had another great player that at the time I thought was the best I had ever seen, and that was Cesar Cedeno. Got to the big leagues when he's 19 years old and could do everything.
Franco with 2 outs is 0 for 2 today. Anthony just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. How close was this to the strike zone?
Sherwin-Williams painting the corners will tell us. Right there.
Fly ball down the left field line. And in the corner. Domit's going to make the play, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down in the Phillies 7th. We go to the 8th. The Padres leading 2-0. And things got off to a great start for the Braves today.
Sure did. Bonifacio, his 3rd homer of the year, put the Braves on top 1-0. That was followed quickly by a walk and then a single by Freddie Gonzalez after Gosselin stole second. That plated the 2nd run. And that's where we stood. And then a comebacker off the face of Hamels wasn't even enough to knock him out of the game. He gave him a fat lip, bloody lip. But after that, he sent down 20 in a row. Until he hit Terdosovich with a pitch last inning.
I think that made him mad. So Hamels will go to work in the 8th inning. It'll be Gerald Laird batting for the Braves. Franco is back. You never know. G-Money might try to bunt.
Yeah.
Appreciate Gerald taking some time with us earlier today. He's a very thoughtful guy. And he's done a good job for the Braves these last 2 years. Veteran mentor for Evan Gattis. Veteran presence for Freddie Gonzalez. It wouldn't surprise me if Gerald Laird manages someday. I think he'd like to do that.
If he wants to, I think he would be a good one too.
And he hits it toward Franco, but the third baseman made a good play and got him by a step. 1 out.
Couldn't quite get it by him. And again, this kid's scouting report talks about some real good glove work.
Here's the Bambino, Emilio Bonifacio. Leadoff homer. And he takes the ball inside. 8th inning, Pirates 1, Reds 1. It's the bottom of the 8th in Cincinnati. Tigers 1-0 over Minnesota and threatening in the bottom of the 8th. White Sox 3, Kansas City 2 in the 4th now. Oakland has scored a run against Texas. They lead 1-0 there. On August 10th, the Oakland A's were 4 up in the West and 11 games up in the wild card. They're playing for their playoff lives today. The dynamic of their team turned on a dime with the trade of Cespedes to the Red Sox. A bunt try, and Hamels with a bare hand made a nice play.
You were talking about all those playoff possibilities earlier, Chip. The other side of it is if Detroit wins, that's that.
Correct.
In the Central. If Cincinnati beats the Pirates, that's that in the Central in the National League. And if Oakland wins, then that's it for Seattle. So there would be no tiebreakers.
Let me ask you this. With the Reds-Pirates game so deep, and the Cardinals and Diamondbacks not starting for probably another half hour, 45 minutes, if that game's decided and it goes Cincinnati's way, would the Cardinals yank Wainwright and not pitch him today?
I would. I don't know if they will or not. And the competitor that Adam Wainwright is, he might say, no, let me get some work. But I'd be hesitant to do that.
If he does go today, he'll be going for a 6th win in September. And win number 21 on the year. Hamels is dealing through 8 innings. His Phillies, though, trail by 2. Chip and Joe with you for a final time here in 2014. We've had a fun day today. 2-0. Atlanta leads the Fighting Phils. Back to our trivia question. Remember, we asked earlier, Ryan Howard's one of 2 players with 130 or more RBI against the Braves over the last 40 years. Who's the other man to do that?
I'm going to go with Mike Schmidt since we're in Philadelphia, and since I saw him today, I got to go with him.
And I think it was his birthday yesterday, so I'm going to ride your coattails and see if it is the great Philadelphia slugging third sacker. No,
we were close.
George Foster. Well, he was a great hitter, wasn't he?
Yeah, we would have gotten that somewhere around November.
Maybe.
Yeah, if we went through like 30 names a day.
Remember when he hit 50 home runs? That was an eye-popping number back in the day. Real big sluggers were guys that hit 20 or 25 homers. He hit 50.
And he would wear out that upper deck at Riverfront. Long homers.
Freddie Galvis versus David Carpenter, which is in his final game for the Braves this year.
I got a good story on George Foster for you.
Go.
The Reds used to train, I think it was in Sarasota, and I had an uncle that lived there, and early one morning my uncle picked up this guy who was hitchhiking and needed a ride to the Cincinnati Reds complex, and it was George Foster.
In the air towards center. That's going to get down for the 4th Phillies hit.
So naturally, they were talking about baseball and everything, and my uncle says, well, you know what? I have a nephew that plays in the Dodger system. Told him my name. Said, be watching for him. First time I got called up, the Dodgers were in San Francisco, and then we went to Cincinnati. And I'm standing by the batting cage, and George Foster walks over a couple of years later now, okay, and introduces himself to me and tells me the story. And he said, your uncle was right.
A couple years later?
Yeah, it was like a couple of years later.
This wasn't like,
it wasn't like 6 months later.
September or July of the same year. Holy smokes. That's a very cool story. What did your uncle say when you told him?
He said, he's right. He's telling you the truth. I told him that. He said, I can't believe he remembered.
I can't either.
I said, well, he must have really appreciated the fact that you gave him a ride into the complex.
Wow, that is great. So here's Grady Sizemore. Phillies take down Cole Hamels, who, by the way, has 2 of their 4 hits today. And they go to the bench. Sizemore started the year in the American League, got off to a great start, and things went downhill rapidly for him. The Phillies scooped him up and have given him a chance over in the National League. He's at 248. 12 RBIs, 21 runs. Sharply hit and through. Back-to-back singles. And Galvis on his way to third, and the Phillies have a big threat now in the last of the 8th inning.
Turned on that fastball. That snaps about an 0 for 20, I think, for Sizemore, who pinch hit here the other night, but walked.
So now you've got to face the hits leader in the league with the tying runs aboard. Double play ball. There's one. There's 2. A run is in. That spoils the shot out, but Revere's hit into his second double play of the day. It's a 2-1 game now. And with that double play, Freddie Freeman has the Braves team record for innings played in a single season.
Only fitting that he gets to catch the out.
The Iron Man at first base is Freddie Freeman.
He's due up first in the 9th.
Here's Ruiz. Be careful with him. And the ball is outside. Well, looks like the Cardinals are going to have a decision to make. The Reds have opened up a 4-1 lead in the 8th inning over the Pirates. If Cincinnati wins, that clinches the Central for St. Louis.
That game was delayed. It must have been a brief delay. The go-ahead run was scored on a hit by Johnny Cueto. And then Negron hit a home run.
We'll see if Wainwright's taken down for the Cardinals. That start means nothing for St. Louis. They're assuming the Reds hold a 4-1 lead. Pittsburgh will host the Giants in the wild card game. Cardinals will face the Dodgers. Meanwhile, another big story in the league. Washington and Miami, as Ruiz walks in front of Utley. Jordan Zimmerman just threw a 10 strikeout no-hitter at the Marlins on the final day of the year. He beat Miami 1-0 today. 13-5 is Zimmerman's final regular season record. So with Strasburg, Pfister, and Zimmerman, that's as good a threesome as anybody going into postseason, and they're all hot.
No question.
So here's Utley. He's got revenge in his mind. He was hit by a pitch back in the 6th inning. 2-1 game. 2 hits, a double play, and a walk for David Carpenter. And downstairs, no swing. Detroit extends their lead. It's 3-0 over the Twins in the 8th inning. If Detroit wins, they clinch the AL Central. Oakland leads Texas 2-0 in the 2nd. If that score holds, that will eliminate Seattle.
Now the National League Division Series doesn't start until Friday. So from Wainwright's perspective, speculating on that, he may indeed pitch a little bit. He's cut it short.
Do a game bullpen?
Yeah.
3 innings or something like that?
Up, yeah. Maybe even more than that.
So the Pirates went to Cincinnati hoping to shock the world and claim the Central, but the Reds were their nemesis all summer long. Cincinnati beat the Pirates 12 times this year, and they're beating them late today. 2 balls and a strike for Utley. 2-1 Atlanta lead. And a fly ball well hit toward left. But Bonifacio and Domet converge, and a collision, and the ball is handled by whom? Who's got it? It's Bonifacio. That was close. Utley flies to left.
You put a catcher out there, you take your life in your hands.
What we hope, because the Braves are leading. It's the 9th inning. It's 2-1 game, and all season long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Time for our SunTrust shining moment. Ball game began with a bang in the first.
Down and in, looked like a cutter maybe down into Bonifacio, and he launched it. His 3rd homer of the year, his first as a Brave. Set the tone for the whole first inning. The Braves kind of jumped on Cole Hamels early, got 2 runs, and they've made that stand up so far. Take a look at this guy's strikeouts to innings pitched. Jake Diekman, really tough on left-handers, throws way across his body, and he can air it out. Throws hard.
Sore lip for Cole Hamels and a sore subject. Very little run support for him again today. as he's on the hook for what could be his 9th loss. Braves, though, in the Phillies bullpen. If you're looking for positives for the Phillies next year, this is it. If they have trouble finding pitching, their bullpen has been outstanding this year and figures to be so next year, too. Their bullpen has struck out the most hitters in the history of the franchise this year. And they have the 4th lowest collective ERA in the game since the 5th of August. And Diekman has become a big part of it. Just got Freeman to swing and miss in his last at bat of the year.
Yeah, between he and Bastardo, they've got 2 really good left-handers. You got Ken Giles as the closer in waiting. DeFreitas. And they've also got Mike Adams, who's back and appears to be healthy again. Boy, was he good when he was with the Padres.
In the air to center. Revere makes the play at the chest. There's out number 2. And one last swing for Evan Gattis. And don't know, will this be Evan's last at bat as a Brave?
Could be. Could have been the last one for Chris Johnson.
Evan is 0 for 3. I don't envy the decisions that John Hart, Bobby Cox, John Schuerholz are going to have to make in the days, weeks, and months ahead. But these are exciting times, I think it's safe to say, for the Braves. We heard Gerald Laird talk earlier about the young core on this ball club. It is under contract. It is controllable. You know what you have. But there will almost certainly be dramatic changes to the uniformed personnel on this ball club. And I think that's needed, quite obviously, after a year like this.
Well, I just don't know. I don't think that there are that many untouchables.
It's not a great disappointment this year. Comes great opportunity for Atlanta looking ahead next year. Gattis is called out on strikes. Diekman with a 1-2-3, top of the 9th inning. 3 more outs to get for the Braves. Total of 46 this year. In what has been a bullpen game for the Braves, that group has pitched great. And Craig had some distractions last night, didn't he?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Look at the crowd behind home plate trying to imitate him and distract him. He said afterwards, he said, I didn't even see them until it was pointed out to me by Gerald Laird after the game. He said, and then it was pretty funny. He said, if I'd seen it during the game, I probably would have started laughing.
Well, And obviously the Phillies scoreboard people don't watch the Braves games in Atlanta because they're playing Craig's entrance music on this PA system here. But he's had another outstanding year. 4 straight years of 40 saves or more, and a chance for number 47 today.
And tough duty for the Phillies, trying to hit him in the shadows right now too.
Ryan Howard 0 for 2 with a walk. And back to the screen, foul for a strike. Craig Kimbrell owns the all-time strikeout percentage in relief history. 185 saves, 473 strikeouts. 42% of all of Craig's outs are via the strikeout. Next highest, Billy Wagner at 33%.
What a coincidence.
John Smoltz, by comparison, 28% of his outs were strikeouts. Two balls and a strike. Little pop. Deep second. La Stella going out. Takes a peek. Can't get there. A blue pitch for Howard. So the Phillies put the tying run aboard, and one would think the pinch runner is going to come out for Howard here. It will. Tony Gwynn Jr.
That's a rarity. Something up and in on Howard, and he actually made contact with it, and albeit very light contact, muscled it into shallow center.
They'll tie strike inside corner for Marlon Byrd. This is a scary hitter. He's their club leader in homers. One of those would end the game for the Phillies.
Braves have turned a couple of key double plays this afternoon. They need another one.
Byrd is retired. How about that pitch?
I don't think he ever saw it. Honestly, I think he saw it come out of his hand and then had to try to predict where it was going.
For young fans who don't remember games at Wrigley Field in Chicago before the lights, imagine Lee Smith. May have heard that name, one of the all-time great hard-throwing closers. That's how hitters try to hit against Lee Smith in the shadows without the lights. No lights on now. Try to help minimize those shadows today. As Brown bats with a man aboard and one out. Steve Reich outside corner.
That almost looked like he slowed his delivery down and threw a changeup, and it was 97 because he used so little effort to get the ball to come out of his hand like that.
Another case maybe of the invisible baseball.
Just hard to track when it's going through a strobe light of the two shadows.
Runner goes, swing and a miss. Gaddis's throw is off target. And on the deflection, Gosselin knocked the ball to Tommy La Stella. But Brown is out on a strikeout. Gwynn steals second. And Cody Ashe has the task of trying to keep the Phillies season alive. Ashe was the man on deck when Ben Revere lined out to end the game last night. So a pinch hit in the ninth, tying run in scoring position. 2 outs. Good cut. Strike 2, outside corner.
The Mets have polished off Houston. 8-3 the final. They've guaranteed themselves a spot of at least tying for second place. Quite a climb for them. Quite a finish.
No shenanigans by the fans as Kimbrel goes to work and missed high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Detroit has won. They beat Minnesota. They are the champions of the Central. Congratulations to Brad Ausmus and the Tigers. Here it's 2-1 Atlanta. Swing and a miss. And Ashe is going to be retired. Gaddis will make the peg to first. And that's how the 2014 season ends, with a Craig Kimbrel strikeout of Cody Ashe. And the Braves earned their 79th victory of 2014. They beat their nemesis Cole Hamels. And in a bullpen game, Johnny Holstaff came through for Atlanta. They scored 2 in the first, and that was enough to win in game 162.
Had 3 hits today, and they were all in the first inning. That's it.